Team leadership. It's a big thing out there. Everyone is talking. Knowing that the essence of teaming is really what makes organizations powerful. Powerful in the sense is we're all made of systems. We're a whole entire system of teams, what makes up an organization today. But we know out there, there's so many leadership trainings that are helping a leadership develop as an individual or even coaching. So, where does that leave us today in helping them become team coaches for the teams of the future? So, join us today as we talk about team leadership and why every leader should learn team coaching skills. Welcome, everyone, to this afternoon's GCW. I like that short on there. Look at, we got a new
Yeah.
logo. We're going to have to come up with a new intro video soon. But hi, everyone on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. I think those are ours. I think we even have a little Twitter. But welcome. And we are going to be talking about the essence of teaming. When we talk about outcome-centric cultures, it's all about teaming, but we want to talk about the subject of team leadership today. I know that we think that's quite important out there where, me being an agile coach, working a lot in organizations that are going through their evolution of agility, we are end up doing a lot of the team coaching. But where does that leave the people leader of the teams that I leave behind? What do they do after I'm gone?
And that's the question, really. And that's why we love. I think we love this topic so much, and we love the holistic approach to everything that we do, because it's not all of those leadership programs. They focus on the leader, and that what that tends to also do is it creates a bigger gap between that leader and the team. Or you have programs that focus on the team, but then they don't also teach the leader, or they don't empower the leader. They don't give them the skills to be able to also manage that after, I don't know, the external consultant is gone. It's all about being able to do what you have to do, because you do that every day. You are leading that team somewhere every day, whether or not it's you that takes the helm that day, or you have somebody else on the team driving the car, but you are actually dealing with these things every day. So that is why really working with the leader and with the team together, that actually takes the pressure off of both of them. Because a lot of the leaders right now, and I work with a lot of leaders who are right there in the middle between top leaders and their teams, and they're just feeling squeezed and forgotten and lost and frozen. So what do they do? And they're under such amount of pressure, and they feel already exhausted and depleted, and you come from that state of mind and you're supposed to be high performing. I don't think so. It's not going to work. You're not going to bring the results day after day. So it's not about just you as the leader of that team, because actually everybody on the team can contribute and needs to contribute, and they want to contribute. The minute you're not allowing them to do that, that's when we wonder, oh, where has my team's motivation gone? Well, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's there, but are you allowing it to be expressed? Are you creating that environment where they actually feel they can take the helm, they can say something about it, and you're just asking the questions? You're not always, as a leader, the solution provider.
Yeah, so let's peel back the onion a little bit and answer the question of what is team coaching for a leader? So, a
Mhm.
lot of management, professional development for leaders, when what they're teaching out there today is a lot more of just general coaching skills, and a lot of it is related to one-on-one coaching. And so,
Mhm.
team coaching for a leader is really essence of working in a system. And so it's getting some of that system of a group of people of how they collaborate together. How do you create a place of trust for them to be able to talk to? So one of the great things I love to always it for people to try to rationalize this is if you are a people leader and you step in the room, does the dynamic change? Are they talking to you or are they talking to each other? That's a telltale sign of, okay, I need to start moving more towards and learning how to start team coaching. Because what is happening right there in that dynamic is that they have positioned you and now they're talking to you is more a status update versus them collaborating and trying to figure things out. Team coaching teaches you as a leader to be able to lead from behind and getting them to start working with each other, and that is that skill set is what do you do to create that type of environment? Now, some of you that are people leaders today, that might be a natural thing for you. Maybe you've done team coaching in your prior life in sports or what might have you. But a lot of folks that are out there today, it's always been a one on one thing when it comes to I am as a leader versus a one to many on how do I get all of them to work effectively with each other, because again, all organizations are moving to teaming. So if we look at the rate of agile adoptions and agile software development in the year 2020 to where we are in 2021, it went from 37 to 86%. So that means the essence of teaming is growing in organizations if that's how many organizations are adopting agile. And agile is all about teaming. We also know, just to kind of do this, is 50% of the workforce we know is millennials, and we talk about this all the time. What do they love, Roxana? Teaming.
Yeah, they're big on positive reinforcement and they're big on coaching. I mean, in turn, this is a generation who's always looked for mentors and and coaches themselves, and that's how they learned. That's their preferred way of learning and developing. So that's the method that they also enjoy, but it's not something that everyone is skilled to do. And even if they are, if you do it, it's one thing to do it intuitively and instinctively, and it's another thing to have that trust and confidence that you have the structure in place that backs up everything that you're doing so that it makes sense both for you and your team. Because there's a lot of, it's not just having a conversation around the table or looking at each other through a screen. It needs to have the kind of structure that actually takes you somewhere, that solves a problem or that works towards a goal or that helps you. I don't know, let's say you had a team workshop, and now after that workshop you're actually making things happen with the team together, and then that actually enhances the return on investment for the workshop going forward rather than doing a one-off event. So
Yeah.
that can actually, it needs to bring, if it doesn't bring business results, then it's not going to be effective. So you have to have that intuition, yes. Structure, absolutely.
Yeah, and what and from my experience, and again, just going more on that agile perspective, because again, it's all
Mhm.
about teaming. And what we end up doing a lot is training um, leaders and more of understanding the process, how to support it, how to be this servant leader in the sense of lean agile leadership and all this stuff. But we never have anything that says, "Hey, we're going to take you through learning some team coaching skills."
Mm,
We,
yeah.
we reserve that for our scrum masters. We reserve that for internal coaches and all these other people that are not the leaders. that are supposed to be developing these people and learning that skill set. And so
Mm-hmm.
part of where we've left that gap in, and we know the rate of failure in organizations are stem from a lot of different things out there, right? It's not just one thing. But when we think about how we are aligning people on how they're working together in some of those collaborative communication aspects, you have to have that skill set, just like that coach or that scrum master, and not just lean on them to do that. So part of that implementation, I'm going to call these agile frameworks. We should be having sessions to teach them these skill sets. It's
Yeah.
it's it's an area that I see that's a huge gap. And this is why we term this a lot in agile, is this frozen middle, is because what are they being taught?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
all that they're
usually not
providing.
enough. Exactly. And I love what you're saying because it's exactly this. It's learning how to implement on the job and being able to take that knowledge and implement it, because the reality is it really saves you a lot of time and money and energy, because you have to deal with a bunch of stuff every day, so you might as well know how to deal with that.
And coaching alone, and this is why I love the next question, why individual
Mm.
coaching only gets you so far. So you can go into programs like Neuro Leadership Institute has a great coaching program for one-on-one coaching, right? I actually went through it, but it's not helping you understand a system of people. It's only one-on-one.
Yeah.
So if you're a people leader and you're developing on a one-on-one basis, great. But if you actually are trying to create a system of high performing teams, because most of the time you're employing people to need to work with each other. I mean, that
Yeah.
is how organizations work. It's not about just one individual. So what do you do with that? Because one-on-one coaching is very different from team coaching. It actually has different skill sets that you have to acquire.
Yeah. It does. And it's also, I mean, look at the terms. The terms will tell you everything, because individual is one thing, but that is not going to guarantee any kind of team collaboration or team motivation or engagement or whatever it is, or a better, more effective team communication. And actually, there's a study that says, team communication, that in 85% of the cases, that also um, creates a higher rate of motivation, because when your team members feel they can communicate more effectively, that's when they will feel more motivated to communicate and more engaged in what it is that they need to do. So individual coaching, and think about it, if you're leading a team, depending how many people you have on the team, do you really have time as a team leader to coach that individually, rather than have the team together and have that sense of community and also network and working effectively together? That's going to be different. And with individual coaching, what we also see is that you only have a certain number of people, especially in larger organizations, and they're supposed to be higher in the hierarchy of that organization to get that kind of attention, let's say. But what are you doing with the team that you work with every day? How about raising their level of motivation and engagement? Because the truth is, they all are there because they can contribute, they can bring business results. And team coaching can help them understand how each of them contributes, how each of them is different, and how that's good and it's not bad, and how that can bring more results for your team.
Now, I love when you say the word results, because I'm gonna be honest, because I'm more of a someone as I love companies to, want to be able to fully get their return on investment. And the reason why we're even bringing this up is because it's so important. There's so much money being spent, especially in the space that I am in, when it comes to agility, is that we tend to lean on external people to help with the coaching piece of it that we're talking about. And we have to start bringing that in house, because you can learn a framework, you can learn how to do something as a process, but a process is only as effective as the people using it. And so the more that you bring that internal skill of coaching in a systems, which is team coaching, you are increasing your probability for success.
Yeah.
And so that is why I'm mentioning this, is that if you're going to spend the money investing in Agile, then invest in team coaching skills, is
Hmm.
what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Uh, I will just back you up on that and say if you're going to invest in any kind of development program, do it at an individual, at a leadership level and team level, and bring them together, because that's going to be the most effective. And don't do just one offs. Try to get into a program that actually offers some kind of support that helps people implement that kind of stuff on a longer period of time, because we're talking about not just skills. Like, yeah, okay, skills, I know about them, but we're talking about changing behavior, and behavior doesn't
Exactly.
change overnight. It's not going to happen. It takes time. You're talking about creating new habits,
And I don't think
and
they're going to
that
have
takes
an
time.
external coach working on that. And if you're leaving it up to only internal Agile coaches, you're still missing the mark,
Yeah.
because your rate of change is only good as the people actually working in the system to change it. And so, why I'm mentioning this, there's a lot more focus on helping the individual coaching skill as a manager
Mhm.
and being spent in that in professional development. But I'm not seeing a lot when it comes to the team coaching. But here's the thing, and we're going to go into the third why, is that now our dynamics have changed, and it's going to continue to change when we talk about the increasing in organizations moving to more of a hybrid and remote model. We are becoming more global and how our teams are distributed across different time zones. And so that naturally shifts it in to hybrid and remote. And I can tell you right now, even in the last 5 years, or even if I go even further back, we were already distributed,
Yeah.
and we weren't necessarily focusing on team coaching at that level. I think now it's become so obvious when everybody in the organization became hybrid and remote, the lack of that happening, the impacts it made.
Mhm.
What you can't really see, it was hard to kind of put your finger on it. But what the pandemic did, it made the invisible visible, because every single person in the organization went remote.
Yeah. And that is where we also saw the differences, the individual needs, the preferences, and all of that. And again, talking about a team working together, we have to understand how everybody performs at their best. And we have to, especially that the environment, the communication environment has changed. So we need to figure out different ways which make communication better in one environment as compared to the previous environment that we had. Because it's not gonna, we don't have a recipe that's a one size fits all anymore. And that's where team coaching really is powerful. And where it always is, what I see moving forward with leaders being able to coach their teams as well, is that you have that ripple effect. Because when you have team members on your team who are used to going through team coaching, who have that team coaching experience, when they develop professionally, when they grow in their career, they will already have that as a habit.
I love where you're going.
And
It's a
then
pivot forward. It's going to
it is,
continue
it's
because you've
gonna
already been
continue.
learning it.
Yeah. And that is what will help. We talk about inclusiveness and diversity, and that is what's gonna, that's what needs to happen. If we want to bring more inclusion and diversity into the workplace, that it's this kind of ripple effect that we need in organization. And it's not just for the leader to do it, it's bringing accountability down to the leveling it up
And
to
I
the
love
team
where you're
level.
taking this, because There's so much to unpack when it comes to team coaching, and
Yeah.
our purpose today in this segment is a build upon. So it was us trying to justify the why team leaders need to get on and start learning the team coaching skills.
Mhm.
And that was our purpose for today. And there's so much when it talks about motivation and engaging, right? Where we have a huge talent issue, especially in technology, and in that space, because anybody with we had our guest Brian talking about if you have 5 years experience as a developer, you can basically go anywhere you want. Well, people don't leave organizations; they leave bosses. And so part of this skill set, team coaching, is so important because when you have the different types of people, and I posted this week, one example, this was just one example of the motivational trigger of how people get to action, which is it's in the lab profile. This isn't mostly when I say this word, people misunderstand the word itself, but I'm talking about a classification of how someone gets to action. And I use this in the lab profile, which is a language and behavior way patterns of motivation. And so there's two. There's one that's proactive and one reactive. Well, what happens in teams or in a group of people, the reactive people are usually the quiet ones. They're the ones that are thinking through things, and so you don't hear from them. But if you haven't really developed all these skill sets, and when it comes to team coaching, you may or may not know how to draw that out, is my point.
Mhm.
And so all of these things are so essential that you can't necessarily rely on other people to do it if you're the people leader of this group of people. Because as you are working with them and you're helping with that, not
Yeah.
only are you allowing voices to be heard and addressing that concern of diversity and inclusion, not only are you not addressing the motivation and engagement to making people feel like they are connected to something in their organization, which is a talent issue right now. I can keep going the list of how important it is when we talk about team coaching, and then circling back in this increase of hybrid and remote today, it's even harder.
It is. It is because, and uh, and this is what I see. Like, people work more, especially in the hybrid remote environment, because as well you don't have that physical boundary of going to the office or getting back home, and that's an issue. But they generally work more. Everybody is so stressed out, everybody works so much, and everybody feels that, you know what, we're not getting it. I mean, we're not getting the results that we're after a lot of the times. Or for us to be able to get those results, we really need to work a whole lot, like twice as much. And that is not sustainable. When you think about long term, that's not going to be sustainable, because now you don't have people who see each other all the time in one office together. And again, environment is a huge piece of whether we make or break communication. So adapting to that is where understanding how you can ask questions, what kind of questions you want to ask, how you can help people contribute, how you can help people open up in your team discussions and conversations. That's what's going to drive you forward. And that's what's going to help everybody on the team feel like, okay, I'm not as depleted as I used to be, and we're working well together, and we're actually getting the results. Because
Yeah,
otherwise,
and I want to point out, making people go to the office isn't going to solve this problem if they're not
it's
good at
not.
communicating with each other.
Yeah.
That is only putting a band-aid on a problem that it was already there with the team. So I want
Yeah.
to point that out,
Yeah.
is that you still need to be able to build teams regardless of where they are. When we talk about high performing cultures, it's all about getting that group of people to be able to collaborate and
Hmm.
effectively get past certain things. And that's where effective communication, and you talk about this a lot in what you do. And so this is where we talk about what is team coaching. We talked about why individual coaching only gets you so far, and then really why this is so vital in the increase of hybrid and remote today. So making people come to work isn't going to change what was already a problem, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we are trying to address what people are asking for and needing when it comes to employee experience and allowing them to have more flexible schedules, you're not going to get out of the hybrid or remote equation. It's just not going to happen. Plus, anyways, like I said, if you have offshore, or what we call offshore here, here in the US, offshore, but really it's global. You already were functioning that way anyways.
Yeah.
And a lot of in the tech space, they're contracting work, right? So you already have this dynamic, even if you don't want to admit to it or not. And
Yeah.
so the more that you start learning how to do team coaching and learning these skills, you're only going to help shift towards a high performing culture truly in
Hmm.
its essence.
Exactly. And that is ultimately, this is what empowers you as a leader, because you're not relying on anything, or you're going to rely less on external factors, and they're not going to have such a huge impact on how you perform as a leader and how your team performs, because you actually have internal tools to deal with whatever comes to you from outside. That's the thing. And I think especially after the crisis, this is, if we've learned anything, is that the more we can minimize surprises, the better it is, actually, because that's how we can feel
And
that
this
we
is
can all move
stressful.
forward.
This is
Yeah.
stressful for a lot of team leaders where they might have someone that, is bringing the rest of the team down and they don't know what to do. And they're
Yeah.
always leaning on someone else to help them. This has to be a very crutching feeling for them
Hmm.
that they can't even handle the situation and they are asking for other people to kind of help. And it might be because I don't always have the time, or I don't have the skills, or other mixes in that. But there are very simple, quick things once you start
Yeah.
learning your team coaching skills that you can change that dynamic. I gave you an example about when you walk in a room or you are pulling up with your team. Are they talking towards you or are they talking with each other about meeting outcomes and solving things, right? Is it that traditional thing where they're all looking to you to lead it? So, right, how do you change that? Because the minute
Yeah.
you can shift that, there you go. That's when the magic happens because now they're going to
Hmm.
continue doing that without you even around. And so
And
this
that's
is
the
where,
power of it.
oh, it's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
so hopefully those of you that are watching the segment or watching the replay, let us know, put it in the comments of where are you, have you seen the benefits of developing these team coaching skills in your organization? Or are you one that's saying, yeah, we need to start doing it? I even say if you have agile coaches already there in your organization, you should be tapping them and saying, hey, can we do something so we can start developing our team leaders with team coaching skills? Right?
Yeah.
If they're team coaches, they should be able to start teaching some things and helping
Yeah.
develop those skill sets. Now,
Yeah.
next week we're going to even go further with this conversation, which is the 3 secrets to unlocking team potential. So we're going to talk about some juicy nuggets around this. And so today was all about leadership styles and team coaching skills. Now we're actually going to talk about how that actually starts to create outcome centricity type cultures, outcome centric. Because unlocking that team potential, yes, you are going to start getting there. So we have, speaking of outcomes, we do have our GCW special offer that we offered last week for all the scaled OKR courses. So this link that you have in here, we'll put it in the comments, is for the December, but you will always get a discount through being a GCW show watcher, period. So don't worry about it.
And this is
It
a
just,
great build
but,
upon, like this goes very nicely with any kind of team coaching skills
oh
that
yeah,
you're gonna
it's
build, because
all
it
related.
really helps. It's all about understanding how you can create and set those outcomes, and then coach your team towards getting those done. So that goes really
Goals,
nicely together.
goal setting is very teaming and system related.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
about an individual, because if you were an individual, you wouldn't be in an organization. An
yeah,
organization, organisms, it's a system of people. So
exactly.
part of this is moving in that direction and really helping to bring everyone together. So what does goal setting do? Goals, right? We even learned this in Agile, is what it brings everyone together for a shared understanding and alignment. So this is all relevant and related when it comes to teaming. So check that out. If any of you want more information, don't hesitate. Put it in the comments, direct message Roxana or myself on that. But again, next week, we're going to be talking about the three secrets of unlocking hidden team potential, which is all centered around those of you that are trying to shift from outputs to an outcome centric culture. Come on over, because we're always
Yeah.
talking about essence of team leadership and teaming and outcome centricity. That's our thing on the GCW show. I can't even say it.
GCW.
I like
Woohoo.
that.
And
GCW.
okay,
All
so
right.
see you all next time for unlocking these three secrets. And it's gonna be in the morning,
Yeah.
actually.
We I
Next week.
didn't put the
So
times. We
yeah.
are trying to stay on Wednesdays unless the world doesn't let us in our lives. But we do have some variety of different times that we are launching, so it always will be there. But always expect to see us on Wednesday. But here's the beauty: we have replays. And so I'll leave it to at this. We actually have subscribe YouTube channel, our game changing work YouTube channel, so you never miss a beat, and you can always watch our episodes at your leisure. So I'll
Yep.
leave it at that, everyone. So tune in next week.
Alrighty.
Again, 3 secrets to unlock the hidden team potential. See you, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.